Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难.
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都很难
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I am Niu Honglin. Joining me today, the athletic and artsy Tony Reed. As usual. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Niuniu. It's a pleasure to be on the program learning more Chinese because I definitely need it.
I definitely need you to come into the studio and be a model student. And, we can interact and talk about Chinese related culture and language and everything. And yes.
And I feel like I learn a lot every program, even though it's just a little bit, it's baby steps. But I think the more you hear it, the more you're around it, the Chinese environment, it just helps a lot.
That is why in Chinese we say 积少成多.
积少
成多. Yes, so 积少成多 is actually saying step by step you are going to build something major. So little by little we achieve something major or grand.
So many proverbs in China.
So many proverbs. And also in this proverb, we actually got a pair of oppositing words or words with oppositing meanings. That'll be 少, little, and 多, many. And as you can see in the Chinese language, we like to make a contrast of them and talk about them and use them in different occasions so that there is a contrasting effect that is grabbing your attention and making you understand how important certain expressions are.
Yin and yang, right?
Yin and yang, very important. So that would be the theme of today's live stream. We're going to find out what are the must-learn Chinese antonyms. All right, so for our dear listeners, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get to grips with the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 这个多少钱？50块。太贵了。便宜点吧，不能便宜了，这种质量好，那我不要了。你应该对自己大方一点，别这么小气。
So this is a conversation that I wish I could have done about my first 3 years in China, but I'm not even sure if it would help me now. My bargaining is awful.
Your bargaining is awful. That is why you need this. You need to, follow the formula. No matter what kind of price they're offering you, you would always say, no, too expensive. No.
But
That's how you bargain.
Does that actually work?
I have no idea. I'm terrible at bargaining myself. And also, when there are so many online shopping happening in my life, I do not have to bargain because, there's no bargaining button on your phone. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like my first 3 years when I came to Beijing, I wasn't buying everything online. So it was just I always paid what they told me to pay. So I feel like
me too.
I was overcharged a lot.
But the thing is, if you're doing business in Chinese with Chinese people or just generally doing business, there's no way you don't bargain. You need to negotiate. When you're buying in big bulk, it's necessary to bargain. Even for, 1 or 2 cents, it makes a huge difference when it's in major quantity. So bargain can be very important, and it's always nice if you're traveling in China, you don't pay online, you still need to do some face-to-face interaction with shop owners, and that's when you need these sentences. So let's break it down little by little, word by word, make it easy for our dear listeners out there to learn this conversation. So for the very first sentence, 这个 or 这个多少钱
So how much is this, right?
Very
so
straightforward.
这个 or 这个, this is this. 多少 is how much.
How
and then
much?
钱 is the currency, right? The money, right?
Money. Yes. So this is a really easy one. 这个多少钱? And it
It's probably
can
the
be
first thing I learned when I came to China.
It's always the first thing people learn. And it's easy or it's useful because you can use this structure to say a lot of things. So, for example, 你要多少? How much do you want? 你要多少? 今天吃了多少? How much did you eat today? So 多少 is basically asking about how much.
How much?
And it makes great sense within the word because 多 is much and 少 is less. So much or less in this range, which point are you picking? So basically asking how much. 多少, 多少. So 多少 would be a word or a word with words or with characters with opposing meanings already.
So, but sometimes the verb goes before it or after it, right? Like I heard you say 你要多少.
You want how much?
And then when you said eating, is 今天多少吃?
吃了多少? You still put it in front of the
still
word.
put it in the beginning. Okay.
Yes, put it in the beginning.
Got it.
So, yes, 这个多少钱? How much is this? 你今天吃了多少? How much did you eat today? That felt like a question from a mom.
Yeah, I think like you're
People
gaining too
don't-
much weight, and they're like, "How much did you eat today?" You know?
Ooh,
Need to
very
slow down.
aggressive. Or you can also say things like 你要多少? How much do you want? So how much? 多少?多少? Easy to use. And the answer is also straightforward. 50块.
50块, this is like 50 yuan, right? So 50 is 50. Kwai is, I feel like this is how local people say the money. You know, when they talk about it, we just say yuan.
Yeah, yuan is a bit more official. It's kind of like in English, you say $50 and you say $50. Same thing.
Okay.
So make it native and colloquial. And I have to say that in daily life, if you're here living in China, in daily life, people use kwai much more often than yuan.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Kwai, again, I know that I'm horrible with the tones, but
No, you're not.
kwai is also, which one is for fast? Kwai?
Yes, same thing.
Same?
Same pronunciation.
Same pronunciation.
Good
Oh,
for you,
no.
Tony. Give yourself a round of applause.
No, that's more, it gives more confusion because kwai means fast, but also it's a way to say money. Okay.
Yes, 50块, 50
So
块.
this is context
Well-
specific. Okay.
Exactly. But I have to say, kwai means fast, but it's, again, a different character.
Okay. Of course.
Okay. And then the shopper or the people who's doing the shopping is saying, 太贵了,便宜点吧.
This is that's too expensive. Let's make it cheaper.
See, very, very smart.
Yes. So 太贵了. So 太 is two,
2,
and then 贵 is expensive. Yeah.
expensive.
And then I think the la here is kind of like something you say for
At the end of
at the end of something. 便宜, this is to discount, right? Or make something cheaper.
Make it cheaper.
Okay, and then 点吧. So 点吧, you're kind of like telling someone to do it, right?
Yes, but you separate 点 and 吧. 点 is a little bit, whereas 吧 is
right.
the word you put in the end of the sentence to make it complete, to give it a light tone.
Okay. I almost feel like when you use the word ba, it's like you're telling you and yourself to do something, like 做吧.
Ah, yes.
Right? It's
走
like,
吧,
let's
let's
go,
go. Yes,
right?
走吧.
So here it's like, let's make it cheaper. So 便宜点, so a little cheaper, ba,
Cheaper,
let's do it.
please. Let's do it. We're buddies. Make it cheaper for your buddy. Something like that. Okay, so 太贵了,便宜点吧. This is too expensive. Make it cheaper. And this is very common, very useful, and very, like, I would say you can use it directly to basically anyone who's offering you a price.
But just quick question: do people feel insulted sometimes when you always try to knock down the price?
Well, I think it depends. Most occasions, no. Especially, let's say you are traveling in a tourist spot. You want to buy some souvenir. You can always say 太贵了,便宜点吧. But let's say you're in a electronic shop going for computers, that'll be a little bit strange. So it depends on the occasion. And I do not think it's a language-related question. I think it's a same thing. If you can bargain in English in the same scenario, you probably can bargain in Chinese as well.
I guess that's the problem, because you don't really bargain when you go shopping to buy things in the States. I mean, there's always a set price, you know.
I do not agree with that.
Oh, really?
But I think it's nice to have a few sentences in your pocket when you need to use them.
Yeah.
And apparently, 贵 and 便宜 would be a pair of words with opposite meanings. So 便宜 is cheap, 贵 is expensive. Yes, 便宜 and 贵, 便宜, 贵. All right, so apparently for the shop owner, it's not acceptable to make it cheaper. That is why he said, 不能便宜了，这种质量好。
So it can't be cheaper. It's of good quality. So 不能 is can't. Yeah.
Can't.
便宜, this is cheap. Make it cheap. 这种, this is this, right?
Yes, but 种 here is kind or
this kind.
sort. So you can say this kind. It's like saying there are different versions of apples, and I think this one, well, apples does not work with quality. Okay, there are different types, different kinds of gloves, and this one's got better quality. That is why I cannot cut down the price.
Also, quality here is 质量.
质量.
Right. And then 好 obviously is good. So this
Good.
quality is too good to sell cheaper. So this is the price.
Precisely. 不能便宜了，这种质量好. And we've got a very stubborn customer here. 那我不要了.
Well, you got to do that. I think this is then I don't want it.
Then I don't want it.
那我 so na is like then, right? And then 我 is I. 不要 is don't want it.
Don't want it. Nope, no can do. If you cannot cut down the price, neither can I bring it up. 那我不要了.
But unfortunately, that's when they will reach out and say, okay, I'll give it to you for 45.
If that's the case, then, well, yeah. But I don't think they are to the point of talking price yet. They're just talking about the possibility of making it cheaper, right?
Yeah.
And we've got the final answer, or the sentence. I think it's a funny sentence coming from a shop owner. 你应该对自己大方一点，别这么小气。
Oh, wow. Okay. You should be generous to yourself and don't be stingy.
Yes.
You know, I would probably walk right out of a store if they told me I was being
Not
stingy.
punch someone in the face?
No, of course not. But
No. Violence is wrong.
But yeah, you're telling me I'm stingy because I don't want to pay your price, right?
Okay.
So 你应该. So you, right?
Yes.
应该. This is a new one for
应
me.
该 should.
Should. So you should, and then 对自己. So this one is generous.
Well, actually, 对 is towards. 自己 is self.
Self.
So towards yourself. And here 大方.
大方. This is generous.
Yes.
And then 一点 is like a little, right?
Yes, be a little generous.
Be a little generous. 别, this is like don't do something.
Don't
right?
do something.
这, this is like this or
这么.
这么.
You're not wrong because 这 is this, but 这么 is it's also this, but it's used as a, let's say, as a way to say don't be this stingy or don't be this something instead of saying actually this or that.
Okay, 小气 is stingy.
Stingy, yes. And 大方, 小气 would be another pair of antonym. 大方,小气.
大方. So this is generous.
Generous.
And then 小气 is stingy.
Yes. Don't be stingy to yourself. Be a little bit more generous. So, 你应该对自己大方一点，别这么小气. In this case, do you think you have any questions towards the conversation?
Just a comment. It's just kind of funny that the shop owner is not saying that his product is too expensive. It's that you're being too stingy.
Yes. And the thing is, I do not think the last sentence would happen in a real conversation. I just put it in so that you guys would learn another pair of don't assault your customers. Okay, so let's try the conversation now, possibly.
Yeah. So, are you gonna be the shop owner? Or
I will be the shop owner.
Oh, okay. 这个多少钱？
50块。
太贵了，便宜一点吧。
不能便宜啦，这种质量好。
那我不要了。
你应该对自己大方一点，别这么小气。That is very nice. And you're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Honglin, and Tony. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts by email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's learn more must-learn Chinese antonyms. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. This is Niu Honglin, joined by Tony. Tony, how many antonyms do you know in Chinese?
You know, I can't say I know a lot, but I know a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For example?
Are you gonna make me demonstrate? Huh?
I am.
Well, I know 漂亮, right?
漂亮.
This is pretty.
Pretty.
And the antonym of that is 丑.
丑.
Right?
Yes.
What else?
Do you know big and small?
Big is 大.
大.
Right? And then small is 小.
小,大小. Yeah, that's a pretty common one. And we know more and less already, right?
More is 多.
多.
And then less.
Remember, if you want to ask how much.
便宜.
少.
Oh, 小.
多少, right?
Also it's 小.
少.
Okay, so it's like small.
Small is 小.
It's a tone. Okay, got it. 小.
Yes, and 少.
小.
少. Yeah, that'll do. 多少, 大小. And we have cold and hot.
Oh, cold. This is 冷.
Uh-huh.
And then hot is 热.
热, 冷, 热.
And the R sound again, one more time for me.
热.
热.
Yeah, perfect.
It's almost like a D, the DZ sound. 热.
热. Yes, it is a little bit like that.
Okay.
And you can think of 热 or all the Chinese characters with 日 starting as think of genre. 日, that's the 日 starting.
Genre.
Yes.
Got it.
Right? It's
Okay.
not that hard. And of course, we have short and tall. 高 and 低.
高 and 低.
Yes, that's short or tall. It can also be understood as high and low.
高,
高低, it's the same. Also, we have already demonstrated in the conversation cheap and expensive.
便宜 and 贵.
便宜和贵. Yes, 便宜 would be cheap. 贵 expensive.
Yeah.
How about, let's say, late or early?
I know when I greet people in the morning, I say 早.
Yeah, perfect.
And then in the evening or late, you might have to help me with this one.
晚.
Oh, I knew that.
You
晚.
knew that.
Yeah, 晚安.
晚安.
Okay,
And there's a funny expression with these together. That is one other thing I want to say about the Chinese antonym is that if you've got a pair of characters carrying opposite meanings, it's possible that you can pair them up and come up with a word that means something. We already know that 多 and 少 is more or less, but putting them together, 多少, you're actually asking how much. And 早晚 is also the same situation. We know 早 is early, 晚 is late.
Right.
But putting it together, you're saying sooner or later. So if you say 早晚你要小心一点儿，不然早晚会出错. So you should be careful with everything. Or sooner or later, you're going to make a mistake in that occasion. 早晚.
早晚.
And there's a funny expression in Chinese saying that we should do this at noon because sooner or later we're going to make it wrong. And they're using 早晚. The punchline is that morning and night, it's not suitable. So that's the punchline. So 早晚, you can remember it that way.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later, 早晚, 早晚. And we know that 大小 is big and small. 大小. And sometimes people would say you should respect him a little bit more. Bigger or smaller, he's a boss of yours.
So
that's
whether he's big or small.
Exactly. So 大小是你的领导嘛. it's again can be used that way. But remember, do not create your own words using characters with opposing meanings. These are set word. These are set phrase. These are things that are already very common in the Chinese language.
So sometimes it doesn't work out.
Sometimes it doesn't work. Only when you listen to people use it, listen to native speakers use it, you can use it in other occasions.
Got it.
Okay, so those are some rather easy, let's say, words or antonyms in Chinese, because we've talked a little bit about it previously. That is, in certain occasions, it's possible that these two words are not precisely or exactly with opposing meanings. We've talked about 老师学生.
Teacher and student, huh?
Yeah, or 医生病人.
病人,
医生,
医生,
doctor.
Doctor.
病人 would be patient.
病, this is like, doesn't that mean sickness?
It means sickness.
Sick person?
Sick person.
So why do all patients have to be sick?
Why would you go to a hospital if you're not? Right?
You got a point.
All right, so 病人, sick person or patient. You can also say 患者 for sure. That's a little bit nicer, I guess, more official. 病人, sick people. Again, it's very neutral. There's no negative meaning carried with the word 病人. It's just patient. So, patient
If
and...
you break it down, it's like sick person. So
No, it's not. Okay, 医生和病人 or 医生和患者, doctor and patient.
We did fast, right? 快 and 慢.
快 and 慢 for sure, but 快慢 are not exactly. They are very strict, like textbook antonym. Now we're talking about not so opposing meaning carrying antonym, but still antonym. And there's another one, domestic and international.
Domestic and international. Yeah.
Do you know how to say
I guess
that?
You could say that's
Relatively antonym. Relatively speaking antonym.
International. No, why don't you help me with that?
国际.
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 This is international, right?
International. And of course, we have 国内.
国内.
国内, you know, right? Domestic. 国内 and 国际. That is another example of a pair of words that are carrying somehow opposing meanings, but not exactly opposing meanings towards each other, but can count as an antonym or at least a pair of words.
国 here is country, right?
Country, and 际 means among, whereas 内 means within.
Okay.
So among countries would be international, and within countries would be domestic. So for these kind of antonym, it's important for you to understand the meaning and use them in right occasions. And the funny thing is, I think most times in English and in Chinese, no matter which language, if they have opposite meanings, they have opposite meanings.
Yeah.
Like I've got comments saying that are 天堂和地狱, heaven and hell, considered antonym? Yes, in Chinese as well. 反义词啊, 反义词. At the same time,
反义词.
反义词 antonym. 反 is opposite, and 义 is meaning. 词 word. 反义词. Yes, and 天堂和地狱是的，是反义词. At the same time, we would consider 早上和晚上 opposite meaning, so morning and night. And yes, these are all considered words with opposite meanings. Well, I think what's interesting is that sometimes you can test out someone that you only know for a bit and make it a fun conversation, whether or not you would consider something with opposite meanings. For example, 猫和狗, dogs and cats.
猫狗.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people would consider 猫狗a pair of antonyms, some would not. But you can see if, you think about things the same way with your friends. A fun game.
So you're testing people's Chinese ability, or?
You can use it as a Chinese game, or you can use it as a game to see if you think alike.
Oh, well, I would lose that game really quick.
No, it's not a matter of losing or winning. It's a matter of how similar you are with your friend. Yes. And like we have already demonstrated in previous segment of the show, we know that in Chinese, we would have idioms or proverbs using pair of words, pair of characters to make a contrast, to make your expression more vivid and lively. We talked about 积少成多 already, 积少成多, and there are other examples I can think of. And
do it.
Okay, so we have 半信半疑. 半 is half.
半 is half, yeah.
信 is believe. And 疑 is...
Well, 半 again, right? So half believe, half one?
No, 疑 it can be one, but here it's a different character. Means suspicious, suspect.
Okay.
So 半信半疑.
So what does that actually mean?
Yeah, guess what it means.
Well, half suspect. So I doubt you a little bit, and then half believe. Okay, so yeah, I'm just half in doubt.
Yes, half in doubt. 半信半疑 would mean I feel like you're telling the truth probably, but I'm still a little bit suspicious. Cannot make up my mind
I'm
yet.
on the fence.
On the fence. I love it. On the fence. 半信半疑. That is a Chinese proverb or idiom. 半信半疑. Or we can have this one. This one is a good one. 避重就轻. 避 would be avoid. 重 would be heavy. 就 would be get close to. And 轻 would be light. 避重就轻.
B is what now?
Avoid.
Avoid.
Or hide from. You're avoiding the heavy and getting close to the light. Now you have to guess what heavy and light are supposed to mean in this occasion, in this word.
Sounds like something that you have to like, something that's really important. So if you're ducking it, then you're
onto something.
Trying to stay away from the important point or the crucial point, right?
Yes. You're trying to get away from the real issue here. You're addressing some sidelines of stuff so that you do not have to talk about the real issue. You're stalling or you're dodging a little bit. 避重就轻 that's a good one. 避重就轻. Here is another. 朝令夕改. 朝 would be morning. That's a fancy way of saying morning.
Okay.
令 would be a policy, 命令 or order. 夕 is evening. Again, a fancy way of saying evening in Chinese. 夕 and 改 is change.
Policy change, morning. So it's like something that's not very stable.
So if you're changing your policy that you have just published in the morning, so you're changing the policy at night, which you have just polished in the morning, then it would be you're being very inconsistent with your policy. You're changing it all the time. 朝令夕改. You can use it to trash talk your boss if you want, if they give very incisive orders. 朝令夕改. And we've got something, idiom that is rather, let's say, philosophical.
All right.
尺短寸长. 尺 would be something rather long.
Okay.
And 短 is short. And 寸 is a smaller measure word. 长 is long.
Okay.
So we're saying that the long things has something short, whereas the short things have something long.
Okay.
Can you guess what it means?
Like everything has two sides, right?
Yeah, very close. Actually, we're saying everything has their shortcomings and their advantages. So even for a very short stuff, it has its long points.
Okay.
A little bit like that. So 尺短寸长. Everybody has shortness, has weakness. Everybody has advantages, has some good quality.
Oh yeah, I think that's a fundamental in life, right? Short. Someone that's short in the boxing world, they normally are very fast and they can last a long time.
See, you can even find an example of precisely
Big guys,
that.
They're enormous and scary, and if they hit you, you're going down. But if they miss after the first round or so, they're really tired and they're easy after that. So
yes, so 尺短寸长. We've got 半信半疑, half in doubt. We've got 避重就轻, to evade from the crucial point, to dodge the crucial point. We've got 朝令夕改, changing the order at night when you have just published them in the morning, and 尺短寸长, everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses. As you can see, that's how important, useful, and common antonyms are in the Chinese language. And I would argue that it can be something that is very, very common in English as well. And there is a very famous example I'd like Tony to read for you.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We build too many walls and not enough bridges.
See, that last sentence is what Tony added there, and that is also something very beautiful and very important. So if you know where this paragraph is from, please leave us a comment. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Tony here in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at chinaplus.cri.cn and go to the column podcast. There are also many podcast platforms for you to find us. We have Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, everything. And just in case you'd like to listen to some previous shows and leave your thoughts, comments, and ratings. 感谢收听，我们下次再见。